explanation on
Sorry, my
what
husband was just here. Sorry, I missed it. I was just had to talk to my husband. What? Okay. What did I miss?
Where'd that thing go? Oh, there it is. Kel said, "Can we get an explanation on what was said on Sad Kitties Live?"
Okay, so all I did was say the same thing I'm saying on this live.
Well,
like, about what? About the
well, you said
sharing the post?
Yeah, well, I mean, you said that you were excited about it.
As in, it was like not excited like positively. It was like if something major is just like holy shit. It was like it got me fired up. I was like, whoa. That's why I was like sending it to people and being like, did you hear this? Like, can you believe it? Like, oh my God, like, cause this is major. Like, if this is what's happening, right? If somebody, because Trump said like, we're going to keep people out of the army, right? And then this person friggin' unalived 70 people because they friggin' mad about it.
How do you know that that was their thought process before it happened?
Well, because that's what they were implying in the post. They were like, this person has a bunch of anti-Trump rhetoric. Like, they're trans activists, basically, in the fucking army. And it's like one of the reasons they're removing trans people from the army is because they're fucking lunatics, right? Like, they're extremists. They're people who are so mentally ill that they're literally mutilating and sterilizing their bodies and mimicking the opposite sex. Like, this is a very unstable group of people, right? So it's just like, and then this fucking happens. If that was true, like, holy shit, that is like major. That's one of the most major things happened. To indicate that these people can cause great harm when put in like positions of power, positions like where they could unalive this many people or whatever. And one of the reasons why Trump is maybe saying like, no, this is too mentally unstable to be in the army or whatever.
So do you?
But it's not like, yay, so happy. Like, what the fuck? I don't know.
Oh, girl, you were screaming with joy. You had tears of joy when that happened. I'm sure of it.
That's what you want to portray, because you just want to portray me as uncharitably as possible because you're mad
you
that
are. I'm not you're portraying yourself this way. No one else has to do that for you. You can do that all on your own.
In the world that I'm just rubbing my hands maliciously with glee when people get unalived. Like, you guys are just fucking idiots. Like, whatever.
When it comes to trans people, yeah, you are.
Go for it, but that's not true, okay? Like, I don't love when people get hurt. It's like saying every time we repost when you fuckers grape or beat or hurt somebody that I'm tokenizing those victims in order to point out your fucking harm that you're doing. I'm not. We're pointing out the harm that you're doing. I jumped the gun on this. Absolutely. Should have waited. And from now on, yeah, even last night when I was on Twitter, I'm like, maybe I should look into this a bit more. It's just a learning thing. Like, honestly, just thought I shared something that was happening and didn't think much about it. You guys point out, hey,
but I mean, there was zero research done. Like, it had been out for like a couple of hours, and you reposted it 7 times.
No, it wasn't 7 times, okay? I was talking.
It was. We went through your Twitter.
I copied and pasted it 3 times on other people's posts, and it doesn't matter. Like, that's, once I found out it wasn't true, took it down. Like, this is not a crazy thing like that. Like, if you post something that you thought was true,
it just tells me that you're so brainwashed, you'll believe anything as soon as it's told to you if it's about a trans person, and you'll just sit there and gullibly believe it.
From this, I learned, hey, there's propaganda on both sides, obviously. So, hey, be a little more careful.
Good.
Like what?
Good. So I'm glad. There's good things to come out of your page getting exposed. Yeah.
Something about it. Like, what do you need me to do? Just learn from the experience and go, hey, be a little more careful next time. Don't repost unless you know, or wait some more time before things are more confirmed. That's it. That's all you can do.
So the person that made the comment, I guess the Twitter handle that made the comment, are they like, would you consider them like a reliable, reputable source of information?
No, they're just another TERF. Like, people were sharing it left, right, and center. You have no idea. People were like, it was crazy. It was wild. It was like, holy shit, this is going on. And it was like, wow. And then I was like trying to find out who this third person was. It didn't help the media wasn't releasing the third so-called female. And you know how they are in the media about trans people. Oh, it was a female. It was a woman. And everyone's like, they're not releasing the name, which really didn't help. And then it was like, oh, okay. Then Joe Ellis was like, nope, not me. And I was like, oh, shit, delete. And anybody...
Did you apologize to her?
Well,
for contributing to this nonsense?
I don't think he gives one shit about me. Like,
no, but you could have commented on her post or on her video and said, hey, sorry, I'm one of the ones that contributed to this misinformation. I apologize. That would have been nice, but...
I mean, if you think he'll give one shit, but sure, I can do something like that. I don't know.
It might. It might matter.
Okay. Well, I'll find the post where he does the statement, and I'll say...
Yeah, it's on her... She did a video on her page, on her Facebook page. She did a video explaining it all, and... Yeah, some people were actually in those comments.
I'll go onto Twitter and I'll say, look, I was one of the ones who reposted that mindlessly. This misinformation was malicious and terrible, and I learned to wait longer, and I can do that for sure.
Okay.
Like, I see the seriousness of how this accusation is, and it's, like, very serious, like, absolutely. So, but all you can do is just not do something like that again and just be like, oh, okay, that wasn't true, and like maybe some of the other things I'm posting aren't true, so maybe I should make sure whatever gets reposted, you know, is really confirmed.
Okay, well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, dear, and just say that you'll probably mean it. I don't know. I still think you're a disgusting human being.
Like
but
Ella is trying to act as if, like, you know, I want misinformation up on my page, and so it's like, no, I don't. Like, if I learn something's not true, I'm going to delete it. Like, it doesn't help us to spread misinformation. It doesn't help what I'm trying to do to say things that aren't true, or to leave things up that aren't true. Like, no. Like, your community does that all the time. You guys did that with Next. You guys did that with Brienne. You guys pretend it's hate crime, and they were unalive because, you know, people are so terrible. And it was both were proven not to be hate crimes. Next had nothing to do with the fact that she was non-binary or whatever the fuck, and Brienne had nothing to do with the fact that they were trans. There was a whole list of people. The court of law proved it wasn't a hate crime, but you guys still run with it because it's part of your political agenda to say that we're all just unaliving you every 5 fucking seconds. But if I make an honest mistake, demonize me to hell. Like, I don't know. Whatever. It's done.
Yeah, and we get demonized for just having long hair and some breasts. But,
yeah,
okay, but you say blackface is worse. You say blackface is less worse than people being trans. Like, make it make sense. You've offended the black community, like, immensely with those. One of the only reasons why people are so offended is because they don't see misogyny as much of a problem as racism, but whatever. Yeah, that's not why the black community are offended, but go off. Okay, well, if you want to have that debate, we can have it another time. But here's something I learned about that as well. You say that every time. You say that all the time. Like last time that was mentioned, you're like, this isn't the place. When is it the time? Well, yeah, because we're talking about like 5 other things, and if you want to go into the debate takes a long time to prove. We're talking about you, Martha. We're talking about you and the harm you cause. Misogynistic, I'm not going to be able to convince that misogyny and sexism is as serious as racism. Of course not. You literally wear us like a... No, you said it's worse, not as serious. You said it's worse. Okay, well, the reason I said that is because, again, they're actually having children participate in this. They're putting this in front of children. So now she's doubling down and... I'll just tell you why. If you want to know why or not, or you just want to like, oh, you're doubling down, like, do you want me to go back on it, or do you want me to tell you why I feel that way, or like what? We already know. We've got the screen recording. Okay, fine. We're literally like putting woman face in front of children. We have drag camps for children. So we're having children participate in the caricatures and stereotypes of woman. It's fucking, also this is like being broadcast into every, oh shit, I have 1% on my battery, hold on, let me plug it in. It's being broadcasted into every fucking living room through stream. Like, blackface never went this far is what I'm like. And when I realized what I was offending was because the impact of blackface is far greater than the impact of woman face. And then I was like, oh, like that kind of didn't, I was like, I didn't realize that. Like, that's true. I wouldn't say that the impact that woman face is having on women is the same as the impact that blackface has had on black people. So I'm going to scale back on saying it's worse. I'm going to say it's comparable. The way that I always looked at blackface versus woman face is that you've got the oppressor class taking caricatures and taking all the stereotypes and making, like, you know, with women, it's like bimbification, it's hypersexualization, it's objectification, it's making fun of our anatomy, our body parts, how they work, it's making fun of all the stereotypes that surround women. And with black people, it was quite the same.
But I realized that the impact, and this
you're making out like we're doing it with the intention of trying to laugh and mock you and do it for comedic purposes.
That's exactly what it's for.
That's the problem, Martha.
That's exactly what it's for.
Do you think that I'm being me for comedic? Okay, you hear that, everyone? Martha thinks trans people are doing this for comedic purposes.
No, I'm talking about drag queens. I'm not talking about, like, I didn't say that was, like...
I never mentioned drag queens up here. I was talking about trans women.
Well,
okay.
That's not
women face, trans women. That's what you were comparing us to.
No, that's not what my statement was. But I do say that.
That's what I've been talking about this whole time.
Okay, well, let's say.
So you're not listening.
Okay, well, my statement was about blackface woman face being worse than blackface. So the reason I thought it was worse is because it's being allowed to run rampant. It's being put in front of children. It's allowed to evolve still. At least blackface is taboo. I realize now that, like, saying it's worse, though, is offensive because the impacts are not the same, right?
Okay, so you're saying that drag queens, so you're saying drag queens and blackface is the comparison you're making, not trans women. Is that what you're saying?
That was the comparison I'm making.
Just so we're clear.
That was the comparison on the tweet.
So trans women are not doing woman face. Okay, gotcha.
No, I think that they are to a degree, but they're not making caricatures. Although actually some of them are making caricatures of women, but not across the board. I wouldn't say that.
So what is it, Martha?
Oh my God, can I ever? Drag queens across the board are just like the way that blackface was it was a show to like mock and like create caricatures and create like exaggerations of everything about like the phenotypes and the stereotypes. That is like blackface. That's comparable, and that's the way I always saw it. And that's why I said it's worse, because they go the extra mile that blackface was never able to do. But what I'm realizing, what's the offense to the black community is that they're looking at the impacts and they're going, well, no, this impacted the black community far more than like woman face is. And I can see now that that's like, okay, yeah, like, do I think that like this is the gay community doing woman face is going to impact women's humanity the way that like blackface impacted black people's humanity to the same degree? And I can see where the offense is coming from. So I'm going to scale back on that, but I do think it's comparable in like what it is essentially, right? Essentially, it is just the oppressor class having the audacity to make clown caricatures of everything about the oppressed class for their own entertainment. So I'm going to scale back on the worst, and I'm going to scale back on the comparison because it's obviously not helping. And then as for what trans women are doing, some of them are being very, very disrespectful about their portrayal as women, and some of them aren't. I do compare it to like black people having to walk around society and see white people doing blackface.
Oh my God.
Like they're literally taking their skin color.
So you're just doubling down again and just reneging everything you just said.
No, because honestly, imagine being a black person having to walk around and look at a bunch of trans racialists. Like that's fucking offensive, right? And that's how women have to deal with it. We have to look at you guys literally like your male fucking version of what you think women are. With your little foot and how they all talking. It's just like they go take classes how to fucking
Well, just
walk
keep
like
race out of your mouth. You're not qualified. You don't have the horsepower for this race.
Okay, whatever.
So I just think you've got to stop.
If you want,
even Nate's telling you to stop.
Well,
yeah, I mean, number 90's here. I'm sure they can explain it to you.
Okay, well, anyway, I've got to get to work. Hopefully that explains to you guys.
Wow.
So what's woman face?
Yeah, I don't really know why. Like this is what
Can
like
she
it
just
sounds to me because you guys call other people narcissists.
Blackface. You're taking
but you think that
number 90,
phenotypes. You're taking caricatures of the stereotypes.
No. Can you just objectively tell me what a woman's face looks like?
It's just the same thing that drag queens do. What's
a woman's face look like?
Female anatomy. They exaggerate it.
What female anatomy is woman's face?
Hold on.
All the things that females have, they exaggerate. All the stereotypes around women. I'm not going to, honestly, I'm not going to be grilled for hours. I do have to go to work. I explained everything. I'm not just going to have you try to demonize me this whole time. I explained everything I need to. Alex, if you want to have a fucking debate with me about black
answer the question.
Let's do it on a time where I'm not about to go to work.
Oh my God, it's not even a debate. It's one question.
I answered your question.
No, you didn't.
Yes, it is taking caricatures of everything female.
What is female face?
Wait, can we let my number 90, a black man, speak to Martha about this?
Alex,
right, I'm the only black person, so I could really speak to
I'll send you a fucking video of exactly what I'm talking about. And it's on
what is a woman's
RuPaul's fucking Drag Race. They got him pulling shit out of his fake vagina. They got humongous
I'm asking woman face.
Foam breath.
Woman face.
Yeah, that's That's what it is. It's like,
oh my God,
mocking our bodies, mocking our female everything. What?
You're not answering the question.
I just did. It's mocking.
Actively, no, you're not. You're actively not answering.
It's exaggerating and making caricatures out of. That's what it is.
What does a woman's face look like?
Wait, Alex. Alex, okay. Number 90 wants to talk to Martha before she drops.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I do have to go. I'm not. Alex, how about instead of saying there's like a bully panel here, how about you and I actually have a debate where you and I can one-on-one talk about this?
It's not a debate.
Or you could talk to a black person.
But it's really funny how you never come up when the opportunity goes.
It's really funny how you don't want to talk to a black person.
Go ahead. Fucking on time for this. Go ahead, Number.
Literally, because the thing that just catches me is that you guys, like the gender criticals, you guys call trans people narcissists, which I can somewhat see that because I guess they don't want to see other people's point of view. The first thing you love to say is, oh, you're not a woman, so you don't know, you can't speak to it. Mm-hmm. You're not black, Martha. Like you think that just because something, like you have two situations, both that can be seen as offensive. Well, one that is just obviously offensive. And the one that affects you think just matters more. So women face whatever drag, that affects you. Blackface does not. But just because the one that affects, like, just you're going to take the one that affects you actually, and you think it just matters more than the one that doesn't affect you. No. There are black women who feel the same that you do about the whole transgender critical stuff, and I guarantee you could ask any single one of them something that would affect both of them. So woman face would affect them, black face would. None of them are going to sit here and say that woman face, whatever the fuck that is worse than blackface. Do you have any idea what the history of blackface even was? Just because you choose to be offended by drag doesn't make it woman face. Its intent was to never be offensive. It was never intended to be offensive.
It doesn't matter the intent. It matters what it is. And
no,
it's evolved.
The intent does matter.
It's evolved to
there's absolutely no context in which blackface can be taken positively or can be a good thing. There's not one.
At all.
So for you to say, based on your opinion about trans women, that trans women, it's the exact same thing because it's women.
I'm not saying trans women, I'm saying drag queen.
What if I don't consider it woman face? That's not the same because everybody in this world would consider blackface a negative thing.
Yeah, now because the work was done to do it. I'm intending to make woman face as taboo as blackface. At least that's
your
like
intention,
honestly, like if I went into a school. If I went into a school with caricatures of the black race and tried to mock all the stereotypes that surround black people, I would be thrown out, ostracized. I would be fired, right? If you go into a school doing woman face, mocking all the caricatures or making caricatures of everything women and mocking all of the stereotypes, you would be celebrated and called inclusive.
Let me ask you
something.
I want to understand how a person dressing up as a woman is affecting you. Because blackface, when blackface was in a prime,
they do it very, very
and being broadcasted on TV, being broadcasted through I can't remember the word.
Minstrel.
Yes, thank you. Those shows, there was absolutely no possible way that black people could walk around and like not experience the stereotypes that are being pushed onto us from that. There are women who could, or trans women, who could dress up, I'd say, if that's what you want to say it is, dressing up or being a caricature. There's nothing that is being negatively portrayed about women from that. The only thing that was ever portrayed from black people with blackface was negative stereotypes.
That's everything they portray about women in drag queens is negative stereotypes.
How is it negative?
I'll tell you. It's the bimbifying tropes they always use. The hypersexualization, the objectification, they take all of our body parts and they mock them with absolute abandon. They use all the stereotypes that surround women and they mock them. Go and watch it with the feminist. Go and watch it with a feminist perspective.
You mean like Kim Kardashian?
And it's like absolutely so disgusting and disrespectful when they're cutting into their drag queen uniform or into their little gross suit, pulling out a baby, swinging it around their head, when they've got foam coming out of their giant fucking nipples, when they're like glorifying like top surgery in their show and having a drag queen who's now, or a woman who's, or a man, or yeah, a woman pretending to, yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, like glorifying all like the most disgusting, horrible shit, and everyone's everyone's like, yay, you know, like this is ongoing, and how this is going to impact women in the future might be very, very consequential, because women are getting it from all ends. All the dehumanization, sexualization, objectification, discrimination is happening right now. We're trying to stop it. We're trying to be looked at as full humans. Men prancing around in like stereotypes of us and disrespecting our anatomy and not even seeing us as unique to men, and you know, like it's just fucking disrespectful, and like I think that it should be as taboo. It should be like, no, you don't just get to dress up as women and mock all the stereotypes and be disrespectful about their bodies for fun, and then teach children to do it, and then do it in front of children, and then keep evolving it and being more and more offensive every week about it, without it becoming some like checking it. And I was trying to be like, hey, if we see racism and blackface as bad, can we see sexism and woman face as bad too, please? But again, everyone wants to blow everything out of proportion. So I honestly don't want to sit and argue about this all day. If you guys want me to do a live,
it just sounds like you're using drag queens to disguise the fact that you don't think there's anything wrong with blackface, and just own it if that's the case, and then we can actually hate you properly.
Still didn't answer what a female face is.
You've got to be kidding me. That's
literally no black person will agree with you. So,
of course, I think blackface is disgusting. That's why I think woman face is disgusting.
What's a woman face?
Oppressors.
You only hold that opinion because you're not black.
Make mockeries of them. Like,
that's the only reason you think how you think. Any black person will not think the same way that you think.
Exactly.
But that's the narcissism. Like, you can be getting told something, and you don't even know how. You don't know what it feels like.
And they think that sex.
Oh my God! And lots of people are racist. There's a lot of racist white tea women. A lot of white tea women are racist.
Okay, it's not as serious as racism.
Nobody says that.
Even though women are fucking unalived every 11 minutes in the fucking world. But anyway, I'm gonna drop.
Oh my God, Martha, just listen. Still don't know what a woman face is.
It's just narcissistic.
Because she clearly wants to say makeup, but then you can just say, well, men can wear makeup.
Like, just because something doesn't affect you doesn't mean it's.
She literally doubled down on it on Manimal's live. Like, sitting here.
And Manimal is even weirder. I don't know. I just don't get it. Like, no black woman will tell you that drag is more offensive, but only because you're not black.
I promise you, as a black woman, I will tell you that there is no possible way drag is as offensive as blackface was to us. Blackface is still actively being done to this day. Understand that.
Good morning. Thank you for
calling me every single day.
Speaking. How can I help you today?
Yo, Rue, you're not muted.
Are you working? Oh.
It's sad.
Oh.
It's sad.
It is sad because
it's the same concept. It's something that you are not. So when you take these women and like there's a man telling them like, oh no, this isn't offensive, blah blah blah, they're like, you're not a woman, so you can't speak on that. You don't know what it's like. This is the exact same concept. You're not black. Is a black woman telling you that it's not the same thing? You're still going to say that it is.
I partially agree with that, but I also don't fully agree with that. The difference is that, like, as much as trans women, like, and this whole entire thing is causing a negative, like, you know, connotation to, like, their community or whatever. My whole entire point is that there are two opposing like views on what trans women and what they do and how they live and whatever. There's people who agree with it, there's people who don't agree with it, and there's people who are okay with it, and there's people who aren't okay with it. There is absolutely not one person in this world, unless you are a racist, who says blackface is okay. There's absolutely nothing like that could be positive about it. There's nobody in this world that could go and say like, okay, well, I'm not doing it in a negative way. I'm not doing it with a stereotype in mind, because that's what it is inherently. It is inherently a stereotype. It is inherently negative. Trans women is not inherently, I don't agree that that is an inherently negative thing. I don't. So to make the argument that I understand, I'm not going to.
Right, and drag queens aren't even trans. They're just regular gay men.
That's true. Not all drag queens are trans. That part too. Not all drag queens are trans. There can be regular gay men and they just participate in drag. That doesn't mean that they're trans. But also, like, I don't know. And the people saying like, oh, it is an oppression Olympics. It is an oppression Olympics. I'm not saying that. Like, there obviously are some like things that are comparable, because yes, I do agree that some drag shows have made women out to be this whatever, like
some drag shows are really cringe,
yeah, But
I don't even watch that bullshit. But.
Yeah, well, I feel like you would have to watch it to be able to speak on it at the same time. Because if you haven't watched it, you don't know where they're coming from, like about what.
Straight men also do drag, and there are drag kings.
Yeah, that too. There's also different aspects to drag. So using drag as the main point.
Women do drag too.
Yeah. Using drag as the main point for this is also insane to me because drag is not just simply about women. So if you want to say trans women, then say that. But saying drag and blah, blah, blah is completely irrelevant.
Because femininity and women are not the same thing. So yeah, you have these men who are trying to be more feminine. They're still not saying they're women. That's why they're not trans. They're just gay men who put on a whole bunch of makeup and a wig. They're not saying they're a woman and making fun of you.
Manimal also went live and said that blackface actually helped break down the barriers for black people and it helped the community. And Martha went out after that and
he also said that
black
people. He also said that black people don't find blackface offensive.
Well, hold on. I already had said this. Like, I don't know how many times I fucking said this, but I said, like, there's so many other scenarios that you can use in any given situation that you don't have to involve fucking black people or any other race. Like race doesn't have to be like the prime topic of a fucking discussion to correlate to something else.
No, I agree because like that's why I find like a lot of the time in other people's lives, if they're talking about a specific topic, if it's about like, you know, if the conversation is about race and somebody comes in and says, well, trans people this, and they'll say, we're not talking about that. Because as much as there is intersectionality between those two topics, it's not the same. Like, it's not. So sitting there and debating, like, which one, like, debating about this even is just giving oppression Olympics because it's like, what the hell? Like, why are we even comparing these two damn things?
I say it all the time. Like, I don't agree with bringing up race and certain topics and stuff unless, like, that was actually the topic of discussion. But, like, in most of the lives that I've been in, as soon as race gets brought up, like, usually the host or, like, half the comments are like, what does race have to do with this? Like, why are we using this as, like, a comparison? Like, there's other things that you can use as a comparison to, like, get your point across. I mean,
like woman face. What the fuck are you to woman face? What the fuck?
Hold on. I feel like this conversation won't get anybody anywhere because everybody's going to have opposing views on different things. Like, I could wholeheartedly agree with somebody on the topic of race, but our